Surah Al-Kafirun, Tafsir explanation. Verse 1. Say, O disbelievers. Ibn Kathir explains that this verse is a direct command from Allah to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, to address the disbelievers, Al-Kafirun. These were the Quraysh, the polytheists of Mecca, who worshipped multiple gods and offered to negotiate with the Prophet about worship. They proposed that they could worship Allah one year, and the Prophet and Muslims could worship their gods the next year. This verse firmly rejects that offer. It begins by calling them, O disbelievers, to make it clear that the Prophet's message is distinct from their beliefs, and that there can be no compromise in matters of faith. Verse 2. I do not worship what you worship. In this verse, Ibn Kathir notes that the Prophet is instructed to make a clear distinction between the acts of worship of the believers and the disbelievers. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was commanded to tell them that he does not and will never worship their false gods or idols. This statement underscores the principle of Tawheed, the oneness of Allah, which is central to Islam, and rejects all forms of idol worship. Verse 3. Nor do you worship what I worship. Ibn Kathir explains that the disbelievers were deeply entrenched in their practices of idol worship, and despite their offers of compromise, they would not truly worship Allah in the correct way. This verse points out that their worship and beliefs were different from those of the Muslims. The disbelievers did not worship Allah alone with sincerity, and their religion was far from the monotheistic worship of Islam. The repetition of this theme throughout the surah serves to further solidify the absolute distinction between Islam and idolatry.